Hey there, Ride the Car Guy here, and we are back in Florida. I am already sunburned, and so is the Xterra. If you follow my channel, you know that the Xterra spent most of its life in Florida, and all of the plastics on this are terribly faded. I've tried some plastic restores in the past, and they just don't last, so I'm gonna actually go and just paint all of this plastic. My plan is to paint the whole front clip, the pieces down the side, and the two rear bumper fascias. The condition of mine are pretty rough. We have a lot of discoloration, a lot of scraping where the paint is completely gone, and then of course a lot of sun fading. For most of this job, I'm gonna mask the pieces on the car while they're still on the car. I'm gonna do that for everything except for the grille. I'm gonna take the grille off because I'm gonna be doing two separate colors. So if you need help getting this removed, check out the video right here where I remove the grille. Let's get into it. Now for this job, you're obviously gonna need some paint. I will put the actual paint codes and the names down in the description below, and as I'm painting I'll let you know which color I'm using where. A vapor mask. Don't just use a dust mask, they will not do anything. Actually get a vapor mask to protect your lungs. Sandpaper, get some fine grit sandpaper just to kind of rough up the surfaces and smooth out any issues that you have. For me, I hit another car intentionally, that's a different story, but I'm going to even out that scrape before I do some painting. And then of course you want some safety goggles to protect your eyes. So one really nice thing about the Xterra grille is that it's modular. So for instance, I want to take this out and I also want to disconnect this inner grille. So back here, there's just a few little clips. You push it out and there you go. You have your logo right off. The same goes for that inner kind of honeycomb grille. So you'll see there's a lot of little clips here. You just start pushing these clips through. Probably start on one end, go to the other, push the clips through, and then this inside honeycomb will come out as well. So there's our inner kind of honeycomb, and then there's our outer bezel. So now we don't need to mask anything at all. In just a few minutes we were able to disconnect all this. So we're going to spray paint this one color, spray paint this another, and then we're done with the grille. Now when spray painting, you want to start with a clean surface and clean hands. So you want to wipe down everything. Of course, if you want to just run the whole thing through the car wash first, that'll probably make things a lot simpler. But we're going to wipe all this down, and then we're just going to give it a light sanding. So effectively, you'll see where, and here I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but a lot of it is pitted, probably because of bugs and things like that over time. So we're going to try to even this out a little bit with some sandpaper. We're going to go high grit, it's over 300, and just give it a light sand to even everything out. Wipe it down one more time, and then we'll get to spray painting. Once you've sanded it down, make sure you wipe it again to get all that dust off, and then you can just feel it with your fingers to see how smooth it is, and you'll know where you need to re-sand. So just keep going till you get a nice smooth surface all the way around. Now I've sanded a few times and wiped it down until the cloth that I'm using comes off clean. When you're wiping this off, especially prior to painting, make sure you're using a lint-free towel. I don't have any, so what I'm going to do is actually use my compressor and for safe measure just blow this whole thing off to make sure it's clean. Then we're going to put our first coat of paint on. Of course, when you're ready to spray paint, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area and always have lung protection and eye protection. For this portion of the grille, I'm going to be using matte Glacier Gray by Krylon. So this is going to be the lightest color I'm using. I'm going to use it for the grille and probably the accent pieces on the front clip. Make sure you follow the directions on the can, and as you're spray painting, make sure you're not stopping and changing directions with the button still held. Always kind of spray, let go, and then start again and change directions that way. Let's get this thing covered. Okay, I am done with the first coat, and I am incredibly unsure about this color. It has really lightened it up, but that's okay. I'm going to keep trudging forward and see how I like it. The beauty is it's spray paint. If I don't like it, I take it off again and I just change the color. I'm going to let this dry for a little bit, give it another coat, let it sit out, we'll move on to the next piece, and basically just repeat this process. Next is the bottom portion of the front clip, and we're going to give this the same treatment in the same color. Now for this next piece, I used Rustoleum Satin Black, and I just hit the honeycombs. You don't really need to worry about the rest. It's all going to be hidden behind the other piece of grill. Just make sure the center piece is covered along with the surround and then all of the honeycomb. Also, if you don't have fog lamps, you're going to have these plastic round pieces where fog lamps would normally go. To get these out, I just kind of shoved my hand behind the bumper and just pushed these tabs to get them out. But once you have them out, you can paint these as well. I think I'm going to try these in black as some contrast. We'll see how that goes. On the bumper, it's just important that we do some masking. So we're going to mask off our lights, our fenders, and then back here, we're going to make sure that we don't get any paint on anything on the interior. So we're probably going to use some cardboard here. Now for masking, we're just going to run some blue painter's tape all the way along the edge of the light. Then afterwards, we're going to take a second layer of tape and tape up some plastic or paper over top this light to protect it from the paint. So we ran the tape, our first layer. We just want to get something in there to kind of push it up. So that way when we're painting, we make sure we get paint onto the bumper underneath. Make sure you're not taping onto the bumper, because obviously when you pull it off, you're going to have a part that isn't painted. Continue the same method around your fenders. Once that's complete, the entire edge is going to be protected from paint, and then we're just going to have to go back over it with another layer of tape, and then something to cover higher up on the side of the vehicle. So for the rest of the masking, I just used a black trash bag that I just cut in half. And you just want to tape it obviously half on the bag and half on the car. But we're going to put this back down here. Alright. And then we're just going to grab some tape and just kind of make sure this stays up. And then we're going to find some cardboard and fill in the blanks. So here's what I came up with. I know it looks kind of goofy, but it's going to do the job. We have the lights masked off with our bags. We have this protecting the radiator. So when we're spraying this top here, we're not going to be spraying directly on the radiator. Down below, I also rolled up some more cardboard, slid it in there and kind of unrolled it. So again, when we're hitting down here, we're not going to be spraying right on the radiator. For the tires, I did the same thing. I just took off some cardboard, cut off a rectangle, and just kind of formed it around the wheel. You know, not the end of the world if you get some paint on your tire, but if you can avoid it, why not? And lastly, in these, I didn't really worry about it. I'm just going to lightly hit this outside. And in there is no radiator, so you're not going to worry about any messing with your cooling or anything like that. But from here, we're just going to give it the same treatment. So make sure it's sanded, make sure it's clean, and then paint it. So again, I made sure it was sanded and smooth. I concentrated on some areas that needed some help, like this guy here. And then now I'm going to paint it. This section here, if you did take off that other piece, then obviously you don't want to sand and paint this. You don't need to waste any materials or effort on that. Just get to painting this and make sure that you don't hit anything that you don't want to paint. For this one, I used a matte deep gray by Krylon. Alright, so again, we're going to let this sit and then let it dry, do another coat, and then hope that it dries a lot darker. So the second coat is done, and again, I just really think it's too light. Not the end of the world though. I'm teaching you how to paint, not necessarily telling you what colors to use, but I'm going to pull this out, let this dry, and then we're going to start masking the sides. Well, I put it all back together and wow, it is not what I was expecting. In fact, it's kind of ugly. I think I went way too light on the grill. It's actually making my headlights look twice as yellow as they actually are. But it does look extremely fresh. It looks like it's all new parts put on there, which I guess is the point. But I think what I'm going to do is make this a two-part video. I'm going to let this sit for about a week. If it grows on me, then I'll continue with this color scheme. Or the next video is going to start with the whole front clip being black. So if you do want these colors, you can find them in the description below. If not, then there's lots of options out there. So that's going to do it for this video. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to hit like and subscribe for more content like this. And be sure to look out for the second part of this video where we tackle the side trim and the rear bumper fascias. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.